Preface of A Treatise of Modern Falconry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A Treatise of Modern Falconry, to which is prefixed, from authors not generally known, an introduction showing the practice of falconry in certain remote times and countries, by James Campbell. Preface. As every nation has a peculiarity of manners which makes it different from its neighbors, so every age has some predominant qualities which distinguish it from those that went before and from those that come after it. The age of Leo X is celebrated for the resurrection and rapid progress of the fine arts and of polite literature. That of Cromwell is remembered with execration as the triumph of tyranny, enthusiasm, and hypocrisy. The characteristic of each age, however, is more clearly seen by posterity, who view it at the proper distance, than by contemporaries who stand too close to it to observe it with exactness. This last being my own situation with regard to the present times, it is with hesitation I venture to place the spirit of them in a perfect energy of ridicule, skepticism, and incredulity, which delights in opposing almost everything whatever. Men derive an extraordinary sort of pleasure from contradiction, which, thank heaven, the peculiar structure of my passions cannot relish. They measure the worth of every object and opinion by the fickle standard of their tastes, humours, and prejudices, loudly condemning this moment the very things which but the moment before they embraced with raptures. Now they think it clever to turn whatever is respectable into a jest, whatever is probable into doubt, whatever is demonstrable into absurdity. But were the world to give a general assent to their positions, they would straight stand forth as the redoubtable champions of common sense. Whether pride decoys them into this study of singularity, whether they are conscious of perfections which deserve the admiration of the crowd, and ought not be obscured in it, this is an inquiry which demands greater acuteness than I am possessed of. I wish I may not be mistaken, when I take upon me the suspect that they are the practical disciples of that laudable philosophy which surprises us with the discovery that beauty and deformity, virtue and vice, are not in the objects to which they ascribe these qualities, but only in the feelings of those who contemplate them. Thus the charms of a fine lady are not in herself, but in the inward emotions of her admirers. The integrity of a worthy man is not to be found in himself, but in the favourable sentiments of his neighbours. And my book must not, according to this humiliating system, pretend to any more merit than the generosity of my readers will be pleased to confer upon it. This amazing philosophy convinces me that popularity is the great end to which all men ought to direct their attentions, since without it they must all be fools, or knaves, or profligates. And the ladies, let them see to it, unless they learn to be a little more explicit and kind with regard to their fond languishers, must be all transformed into frights and witches. The man must have more than the patience of 10 Jobs, whose eternal feeling shall preserve to paint his mistress as an angel, after he has exhausted of the kind of wretch her whole stock of torment, and made him more miserable than a score of devils. The reader will take notice that I do not speak of my own experience. The sex have always used me with a warmth which I shall never forget, but which I shall never again be able, however willing, to deserve. If I have properly described the spirit of the times, I have little cause to hope that the work I am now offering to the public will procure me many compliments, since it is introduced with a few narrations which are not yet according to the common notions of mankind. My readers will easily discover the narrations I have in my eye, and I will not be so much their enemy as to deprive them of this delicious exertion of their sagacity, by pointing out these exceptionable parts of the book myself. I am not prophetic enough to foretell the treatment they shall think due to my labours, but I hope it will not be to the severest kind, after they are acquainted with the motives which seduced me into the perilous character of an author. These, in a word, were to entertain them with the view of falconry, in times and countries very different from their own, to help them to some insight into this manly art, as it is practised in modern days, if they do not already understand it, and to leave a remembrance behind me, which may now and then tell future sportsmen that I have lived not altogether useless to their interests.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?